Have you ever stumbled on the stairs or maybe felt this sudden, inexplicable wave of brain fog right around the exact same time you started asking people to repeat themselves?
Yeah, which happens a lot, actually.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive because we're looking at a stack of clinical research proving that this isn't just some frustrating coincidence.
It really isn't. It's biology.
Exactly. Our mission today is to explore this highly interconnected biological system that, most of us completely take for granted. We're digging into the research detailing how your hearing, your physical balance, and your mental clarity are all secretly tied together at a cellular level.
And we tend to isolate those things, you know?
We really do.
Like you treat a subtle balance issue as, oh, it's just a muscle thing, or a hearing issue as just getting older. And that mental fatigue is just, another busy week at work.
But the medical literature we're looking at today shows these are often three different alarms being triggered by the exact same underlying mechanism. And eventually, we're going to examine how this liquid supplement, it's called ECHOXEN, how that fits into this broader puzzle of biological maintenance.
It's a fascinating connection to make.
It is. And it means we kind of need to rethink how we visualize this whole part of the body. Because we tend to think of our ears like simple microphones attached to the side of our heads.
Right, just passively collecting sound.
Exactly. But based on these sources, they're actually functioning way more like a central command center for navigating the physical world. So let's start by unpacking that geography. If the ear is a command center, what else is it actively controlling besides sound?
Well, it is essentially acting as your brain's primary 3D navigation system.
Wow, really?
Yeah, if you look past the visible part of the ear, past the eardrum, and go deep inside the temporal bone of the skull, you find the inner ear. And within that space sits the vestibular system.
Okay, the vestibular system.
Right. It's this complex network of tiny fluid-filled structures. Specifically, they're called the semicircular canals and the otolith organs.
Right.
And these delicate tissues are continuously monitoring just an incredible volume of vital data. They are tracking your head movement, your body position, your acceleration, and your direction of motion.
So I'm trying to picture how that translates to everyday movement.
Yeah.
Because the sources point out that without these signals to the brain, simple acts like walking up a flight of stairs or just turning your head become incredibly difficult.
Oh, nearly impossible in some severe cases.
Right. So is it basically like the internal gyroscope in your smartphone? Like when you tilt the phone, the sensor inside registers the shift and the screen flips to landscape mode.
That's a really useful starting comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
But the biological mechanism is infinitely more sophisticated.
Naturally.
Yeah. Instead of a digital sensor, your inner ear relies on an actual physical fluid, which is called endolymph.
Endolymph, got it.
Right. And when you move your head, that fluid sloshes around inside the canals and physically pushes against these microscopic sensory hairs called stereocilia.
Oh, wow.
And the bending of those hairs is what triggers electrical impulses. So every single second, whether you are sprinting down a street or just sitting perfectly still on the couch, your vestibular system is firing a rapid stream of electrical mapping data to your brain.
Just to keep you upright.
Exactly, to coordinate your posture and stabilize your days.
Okay, wait. So when I stumble on the stairs, or if I'm just feeling, inexplicably clumsy and uncoordinated, it might actually be my ears to blame.
It very well could be. The clinical data points exactly there.
That is wild.
And when we look at the structural anatomy, it makes perfect biological sense. The hearing organs, so the cochlea and the balance organs of the vestibular system, they are located right side by side.
They share the same neighborhood.
Exactly, share the same neighborhood, but more importantly, they are sustained by the same microscopic infrastructure.
All right, let's get into the specifics of that infrastructure, because I want to know what sharing that neighborhood actually means when things start to go wrong.
Well, it means they rely on the exact same microcapillary network for their blood supply.
Oh, okay, so they share the same blood flow.
Yes. And we are talking about vessels so tiny that even a slight drop in cardiovascular efficiency or, a minor uptick in vascular inflammation, it restricts blood flow to both areas simultaneously.
So they both suffer at the same time.
Exactly. They also rely on the same cellular fluid dynamics to function, and they use the same bundle of cranial nerves to talk to the brain.
So it's very isolated.
Highly isolated. Because this neighborhood is so specialized, it acts as an end system. If the nutritional or oxygen supply is compromised, there's no backup generator. Both the hearing structures and the balance structures are going to starve simultaneously.
That reframes so much of what we just accept about aging. It's not that two completely separate bodily systems are just randomly breaking down at the same time.
No, it's one shared neighborhood experiencing a systemic decline.
Which leads me to the next major concept in our notes.
Yeah.
And it's something you need to reconstruct for a second because it sounds almost like a riddle.
Okay, let's hear it.
The sources state, quite definitively, that our ears don't actually hear anything.
I know, it really challenges our most basic assumptions about our senses. But anatomically, it is entirely accurate.
How does that work then?
Well, the physical structures of the ear are merely transducers. Their entire biological purpose is just to collect physical sound waves from the air, funnel them through the middle ear, and convert those mechanical vibrations into electrical signals.
So they just turn sound into electricity.
Basically, yeah. The ear simply generates a massive bundle of electrical static, and that is where its job completely ends.
So the brain is doing all the heavy lifting here. The ear just hands over this raw data stream, and the brain has to instantly decode that static into meaningful information.
Which is an incredible feat of processing.
Right. It has to filter out background noise, recognize the pitch of a familiar voice, and, parse the complex nuances of human language.
Think about the computational power required for that. Your brain is taking raw electrical voltage and instantly translating it into, oh, that's my colleague asking a question from across the room.
Because the ear is just the wire, and the brain is the actual processor.
Exactly.
Let's put this into a real-world scenario. The notes give a fantastic example of being in a crowded, noisy restaurant.
Oh, that's a classic example.
Right, so plates are clinking, background music is playing, a dozen different conversations are happening at once, and you are just trying to focus on the person sitting directly across from you.
That environment is the ultimate stress test for this entire neurological pathway.
Because there's so much data.
Yes. In a healthy system, the inner ear translates that chaotic soundscape into crisp, high-fidelity electrical signals. The auditory cortex in your brain gets that clean data, effortlessly suppresses the irrelevant background noise, and just amplifies the frequency of your friend's voice.
And you converse effortlessly.
Right. But the dynamic drastically changes when the communication between the inner ear and the brain becomes less efficient.
Okay, I have a technology analogy for this one. It's like trying to stream a 4K video on a terrible Wi-Fi connection.
I like that.
Yeah. The computer, which is our brain in this case, has to use massive amounts of its processing power just to stop the video from buffering. It leaves no energy for anything else. If you try to open another tab, the whole machine just freezes up.
That maps perfectly onto the neurology. When the inner ear sends a degraded, muffled, or incomplete electrical signal to the brain, the auditory cortex can't just process it passively anymore.
So what does the brain do?
It has to recruit other areas, like the prefrontal cortex, which is normally reserved for high-level thinking and memory, to help decode the signal. Your brain is actively guessing, using context clues, maybe even a little lip reading, just to piece together the missing auditory fragments.
And the biological cost of that constant high-alert processing has to be severe.
It is. It leaves you feeling mentally fatigued, highly distracted, and way slower to process conversations.
Which gives people this huge aha moment.
Yeah.
Because when people start experiencing this intense mental exhaustion or brain fog in social situations, their immediate fear is often that they're experiencing early cognitive decline.
Right. They think their brain is failing. But the research strongly suggests we need to look at the ears first.
Because it's not a cognitive decline.
Exactly. Auditory-related brain fog is a symptom of a processor that is simply overheating because it's working twice as hard just to hear.
That is a staggering realization. It completely explains that feeling of being absolutely wiped out after a noisy dinner party, even if you just sat in a chair the whole time.
It's exhausting work for your brain.
So if our inner ear and our brain are working this incredibly hard together, what causes this communication line to break down in the first place? And more importantly, how do we protect that micro neighborhood?
Well, the primary mechanism of damage highlighted in our sources is oxidative stress.
Okay, I want to pause on this for a second. We hear the term oxidative stress constantly in the wellness space.
Sure, yeah.
Usually it's in skincare commercials or heart health discussions. But I've never thought about my ear cells rusting out, so to speak. Are they really that fragile?
They are incredibly fragile. Instead of cells just slowly rusting out over time, I want you to picture a high-performance engine running without changing the oil.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah. The cellular exhaust builds up, friction increases, and those delicate parts eventually just burn out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Our bodies naturally produce reactive oxygen species-free radicals as a byproduct of normal cellular metabolism. It's the literal exhaust from our mitochondria generating energy.
Right, and usually the body handles that, right?
Yes, in a balanced system, the body uses naturally occurring antioxidants to sweep up and neutralize those free radicals before they cause damage. But the inner ear is a really unique environment.
Because it requires so much energy to function.
Precisely. The process of converting physical sound waves into electrical signals has a massive metabolic demand. Those microscopic hair cells inside the inner ear are firing continuously.
So they burn a lot of energy and produce a ton of exhaust.
Exactly. A disproportionately high amount of oxidative exhaust. And here is the critical vulnerability. Unlike the cells in your skin or your liver, mammalian cochlear hair cells do not have the capacity to regenerate.
Wait, really?
Once they are damaged by this oxidative stress, they are gone permanently.
Wow. Okay, so the sources lists the big offenders that accelerate this process. Aging, environmental pollution, chronic stress, and poor diet. But the most immediate threat to this system has to be loud noise exposure.
Without a doubt.
If we are blasting these delicate cells with loud noises, we are basically forcing an already high metabolic engine to redline.
That's a great way to put it.
And that produces a flood of reactive oxygen species that completely overwhelm the ear's natural defenses, right?
That is the exact mechanism of noise-induced hearing loss. The excess free radicals physically damage the cellular membrane and the DNA of the inner ear cells.
And once they die off, they're gone.
Right. As those cells die off, the electrical signal sent to the brain becomes weaker and more distorted, which triggers that cognitive overload and mental fatigue we discussed earlier.
Okay, so that brings us to how we actually build our biological defenses. Because we can't entirely stop the aging process. And I mean, we can't avoid every stressful day or polluted environment. So how do we maintain the infrastructure of this neighborhood?
The foundation of defense is supplying the body with the specific nutritional building blocks it needs to neutralize that oxidative exhaust.
Nutrition is key then.
Absolutely. The research highlights the necessity of specific vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, and plant compounds.
What exactly do those do for the ear?
They serve multiple functions. They help maintain the integrity of that microscopic capillary network to ensure oxygen reaches the inner ear. They support cellular energy production in the mitochondria. And most importantly, they act as powerful antioxidants to scavenge the free radicals before they can destroy those delicate stereocilia.
But the notes also make it very clear that nutrition is just one pillar. You can't just, eat a bowl of blueberries and expect to have perfect hearing forever. Maintaining this whole system requires everyday habits.
Oh, absolutely. You have to actively mitigate the stress on the system.
Like wearing ear protection.
Yes. Utilizing ear protection in prolonged loud environments is crucial to prevent that metabolic redlining. And it also requires regular physical activity. Cardiovascular exercise is basically the only way to ensure strong, steady blood flow to the microcapillaries of the inner ear.
And we can't ignore sleep and hydration either. The brain needs deep, quality sleep to recover from the heavy lifting of processing sound all day. Plus, managing chronic stress is vital.
Right, because elevated cortisol levels systematically increase inflammation and oxidative damage throughout the whole body, including the inner ear.
It is a really comprehensive maintenance plan.
It is. You are managing the vascular supply, the neurological processing, and the cellular defense mechanisms all at once.
So knowing how vital and fragile this whole interconnected system is, how do people practically support it? Because, we all have jobs, families, and a million other things demanding our attention. This brings us to the specific nutritional tool analyzed in our sources, ECHOXEN.
Right. For individuals looking to actively support their auditory pathways and maintain the integrity of that inner ear neighborhood, a targeted formulation like ECHOXEN enters the discussion as a really useful complementary tool.
According to the clinical notes, ECHOXEN is categorized as a premium liquid hearing support supplement.
Correct.
And it's created specifically to support ear health and auditory wellness. When you look at its components, it uses a complex of plant extracts, targeted vitamins, essential minerals, and specific amino acids.
And the clinical rationale behind those specific ingredients is directly tied to mitigating that oxidative stress we were talking about.
Also,
Well, amino acids, for example, are crucial precursors for the body to synthesize its own master antioxidants like glutathione, right there in the inner ear.
oh, that makes sense.
And the plant extracts and vitamins provide additional antioxidant support and help reduce vascular inflammation. That ensures that the blood vessels remain open and healthy.
Okay, let's be real for a second, though. I want to push back to make sure our expectations are grounded.
Sure.
Taking a liquid supplement, even a premium one, it isn't going to magically fix your hearing if you're standing next to a blown-out speaker at a rock concert every night.
Right. Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the literature is unambiguous on this point. ECHOXEN is not a pharmaceutical cure and is absolutely not a replacement for professional medical care or responsible habits.
Right. You cannot out-supplement a lifestyle that actively destroys your cellular infrastructure.
Exactly. The purpose of a formulation like this is to complement a broader wellness routine. It is designed to work in synergy with a good diet, regular physical exercise, and most importantly, active hearing protection.
Right.
If we go back to our earlier analogy, taking ECHOXEN is like supplying premium materials to the maintenance crew working inside your inner ear. The crew finally has the antioxidants and nutrients they need to do the repairs, but they still need you to provide a safe, quiet working environment to actually get the job done.
I really like that analogy. Now, one detail from the sources that really caught my attention regarding ECHOXEN is its specific format. It is a liquid formula.
Yes, it is.
Why does the format actually matter?
It addresses two major hurdles in nutritional supplementation: bioavailability and habit formation.
Okay, let's talk about bioavailability first.
From a biological perspective, liquid supplements often bypass that initial breakdown phase that's required by hard capsules or compressed tablets. This can allow for more efficient absorption of those delicate vitamins and amino acids in the digestive tract.
So it gets into the bloodstream and up to the ears faster.
Essentially, yes.
And from the practical side, I mean, consistency is key, right? If you take an antioxidant complex once a month, it's not going to make a dent in your daily oxidative stress.
Not at all. Habit formation is arguably the most critical aspect of any wellness routine. The research notes that a significant percentage of adults experience pill fatigue, or they simply find swallowing large capsules uncomfortable.
Which makes them stop taking it.
Exactly. By utilizing a liquid format, it removes the friction from the routine. It is highly convenient, easy to take, and simple to incorporate into a daily schedule. When you choose an enjoyable format that doesn't feel like a medical chore, you are just exponentially more likely to maintain that steady supply of nutrients.
Making the healthy choice the easy choice. That makes total sense when we're talking about a system that requires daily defense. As we wrap up our analysis of these sources, I think it is incredibly empowering to realize that we have agency over our auditory health.
We really do. We aren't just at the mercy of time.
But this interconnected web of healthy ears, nerve communication, and cognitive processing also means we need to pay very close attention when the system sends up a warning flare. We definitely need to cover the specific red flags highlighted in the notes.
Yes, this is a crucial distinction to make. While nutrition and lifestyle habits are vital for long-term maintenance, they are never a substitute for an emergency medical evaluation.
Right. The sources note things like sudden hearing changes.
Exactly. If you experience sudden sensorineural hearing loss, meaning you wake up and your hearing is noticeably muffled or gone in one ear, that is an acute medical event.
The sources also list persistent ringing in the ears, frequent unexplainable dizziness, ongoing balance problems, or a sudden difficulty understanding speech that genuinely interferes with your daily life.
If any of those symptoms occur rapidly or persist, you need to seek immediate advice from a healthcare professional, like an audiologist or an ENT specialist.
Because timing is critical.
Yes. Sudden hearing changes often require immediate medical intervention to prevent permanent nerve damage. You should never attempt to rely on a nutritional supplement to fix a sudden, severe biological symptom.
A perfect reminder that wellness requires both proactive maintenance and professional care. So, to synthesize everything we've uncovered today, healthy hearing is not just about a simple microphone detecting a sound.
No, it is a massive, energy-intensive partnership.
Right. It relies on the vestibular system keeping you spatially oriented, those delicate sensory cells fighting off oxidative stress to capture sound waves, and the brain burning serious calories to decode raw electrical data.
And supporting that intricate partnership requires a deliberate approach.
Limit the oxidative exhaust, fuel the body with the right circulatory and antioxidant nutrients, whether through diet or a complementary liquid formulation like ECHOXEN, and physically protect the irreplaceable structures of the ear.
It really makes you look at your daily routine through a completely different lens.
It does. Which leads me to a final kind of provocative thought I want to leave you with today. And it builds on this idea of cognitive load.
Okay.
We've established that when the signal from the ear degrades, the brain has to steal processing power from other areas just to decode muffled sounds or filter out noise. Which begs the question, What other incredible cognitive tasks are you sacrificing right now just to hear the world around you?
Wow. It brings into focus the true cost of an overworked system because we only possess a finite amount of mental energy each day.
Exactly. If you take the steps to actively protect your hearing, you aren't just saving your ears. You might literally be freeing up your own brain power, reclaiming the mental energy you need to learn new skills, to create, to focus deeply, and to think more clearly.
It turns out that simple biological transducer on the side of your head might actually be the master key to unlocking your daily mental clarity.
It makes a very compelling case for turning down the volume and paying closer attention to our daily cellular soundtrack. Keep that central command center running smoothly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.